Subterramundus is a giant hidden cave system populated by prehistoric flora and fauna. It is lit by an unknown gaseous element that replicates days and nights in tandem with the tides of the surface. Entrances all around the world have allowed organisms from the Mesozoic and Cenozoic to find their way into this hidden world. Once there, they diversified into new families and species. While dinosaurs ruled the lands, the skies were ruled by their flying cousins, the pterosaurs. Thalassodromids was a medium-sized generalist predator with a large head and a solid bony crest. While it greatly resembles a tapejourid, Thalassodromids was only moderately related and appears to be closer to astarchids than its frugivorous lookalikes. One notable feature of this pterosaur and its close relative Tuboxara was a thin, blade-like beak. This was originally believed to be a tool for skimming across the ocean, like certain seabirds, although it is now known that Thalassodromids lacked all adaptations for this mode of feeding. The blade is now believed to have been a tool for dispatching struggling terrestrial prey. This feature is retained and modified in all subterramundian Thalassodromids. In addition to this, most of them also possess several large ridges in the beak, which act as pseudoteeth to keep a firm grip on their prey and tear into flesh. When they came to Subterramundus around 100 million years ago, Thalassodromids managed to outcompete the small astarchids and quickly became the dominant flying predators. Once they no longer had sufficient competition, they rapidly diversified. The modern Thalassodromids of Subterramundus are split into two main families, the giant Horrolophids and the smaller Cervocephalids. Cervocephalids are a diverse family with small body sizes and adaptable generalist lifestyles. They are characterized by a crest that in most species is spiked like a deer's antler, which gives this group its name. The most common and recognizable cervocephalid genus is Cervocephalus, the family's namesake. Both male and female Cervocephalus bear a crest resembling a moose's antler. The long prongs serve to intimidate potential predators and display to one another. Cervocephalus are generalist predators and will go after small prey such as mammals, lizards, frogs, birds, and juvenile dinosaurs and pterosaurs. They frequently scavenge the kills of large predators as well. They are also omnivorous and consume various fruits, nuts, berries, eggs, and fungi. Although not flightless, Cervocephalus spend most of their time hunting and foraging on the ground, similar to birds such as caracaras, bustards, or ground hornbills. They are extremely fast runners for their size and use their great speed to escape predators and catch prey. An enlarged claw on the first digit of their forelimbs allows them to pin down medium-sized animals before going in with a bone-breaking bite. Cervocephalus is a highly diverse genus with numerous species, each with different crest shapes, body sizes, and basic coloration. The different species fill slightly different predatory niches. Most are generalist predators. Others are a little more specialized for specific prey. Still others are more omnivorous and eat plant matter as well as meat. Larger species are typically more predatory than smaller ones. One of the biggest and most carnivorous species is Cervocephalus rex, a highly aggressive pterosaur capable of taking on prey larger than itself. C. rex is a predator of large multituberculates, small primates, birds, and other pterosaurs. Cervocephalus cariboceras is an example of a smaller and more omnivorous species, with fruit and foliage making up nearly half of its diet. This species lives in open forests where its large crest doesn't get tangled in foliage. Cervocephalus altus is a species that feeds on tough foods. Its beak is shorter and stouter than those of other species. This helps it crush fruit, nuts, snails, and arthropods. The most common and widespread Cervocephalus species is C. alcops, or the elk face. This species is a very typical example of the family. It is an opportunistic hunter of small to medium-sized birds, mammals, and insects, supplementing with fruits and nuts. Like Thalassodromids, it also hunts prey its own size, such as young dinosaurs and occasionally other pterosaurs. Cervocephalus are usually monogamous, although if one of a pair dies, the other will seek out a new mate. A male will court a female by bringing her kills to demonstrate his capabilities as a hunter. The larger the kill, the more impressive. A mated pair will reinforce their bond with fussy mutual preening and frequent gifts of food. While both live, they will work together to raise their offspring. Both male and female will protect their flaplings from large predators and seek out a safe place to sleep every night. They teach their young where to find food, how to hunt, and how to avoid danger. Cervocephalus are highly intelligent and likely among the smartest Pterosaurs of Subterramundus. They can work out solutions for tricky problems like corvids or certain parrots. Like Simiopterids, they can use simple tools and learn from their environment. While they don't have particularly complex vocalizations compared to birds or some other pterosaurs, they are capable of imitating some of the sounds of other animals. This helps them approach their prey unnoticed. The many adaptations to a generalist lifestyle make the Cervocephalus genus the most successful pterosaur in Subterramundus. Some Cervocephalids are more specialized than others. Craniovastor is an unusual carnivorous pterosaur with a diet consisting primarily of bones. The curved serrated beak is used to saw open bones to expose the marrow or to make large chunks easier to swallow. If sawing doesn't open the bones, the pterosaur resorts to smashing them against rocks or dropping them from a great height. Broken bones are swallowed whole and are fully digested, casing and all. Actual meat also makes up a significant part of a Craniovastor's diet. To help grind up the bones even further, the pterosaur also swallows pebbles and small rocks. Due to its peculiar diet and excessive swallowing of gastroliths, Craniovastor is heavier than most pterosaurs of its size. To compensate, this genus has evolved longer wings, which can help carry excess weight. It also spends even less time flying than its relatives, preferring to scrounge around on foot. These pterosaurs are a common sight at large carcasses, along with Catharodactyls and Cervocephalus. Like Cervocephalus, Craniovastor is typically monogamous, with both parents caring for their young. Things are fed with scraps of meat and small animals before they gain the experience and jaw strength needed to saw open large bones. While its lifestyle is an unconventional one for a pterosaur, it is one that most predators would not challenge for. With a wingspan of a mere 1 to 3 meters, the smallest of all Cervocephalids is Carcivenator, the crab hunter. Like Cervocephalus, the Carcivenator genus has multiple species, each with slightly different specializations for the same general niche. As the genus name suggests, these pterosaurs are specialists of hard-shelled prey like crustaceans. Although they prefer crabs, yabbies, and clams, they will occasionally snatch up baby turtles, other arthropods, and terrestrial snails as well. The unusual jaw anatomy of this genus is highly convergent with that of the extinct Zungaripterus, save for the lack of actual teeth and the bladed beak. The thick ridges are adapted for holding prey in place for a particularly powerful bite. Unusually among Cervocephalids, Carcivenator are highly social, living in colonies dozens to hundreds strong. They are also nomadic, flying over vast stretches of forests between marshlands to find food. When the time comes to reproduce, a flock will seek out swamp islands and slightly elevated land to settle on. Numerous groups of Carcivenator may converge upon the same nesting area, forming a megaflock. This provides many individuals with a chance to mate with females from other flocks. Adolescents use these opportunities to join a different colony or start a new one with other pterosaurs of the same age. Unlike most cervocephalids, Carcivenator is highly polygamous and has very distinct sexual dimorphism, with males possessing a brightly colored crest and a significantly larger body size. In contrast to Cervocephalus, which usually have one single partner, male Carcivenator try to attract and mate with as many females as possible. While females guard their nests, waiting for the eggs to hatch, the males take turns standing guard at the edge of a colony to look out for predators. As soon as most of the flaplings are able to fly, the group will take off and head for a part of the swamp where food is more plentiful. Here, the females teach their young how and what to eat until they can fend for themselves. Triokeryx is another cervocephalid that lives in the wetlands of Subterramundus. Unlike the Durophagus Carcivenator, however, Triokeryx is a piscivore, filling an almost seabird-like niche. Triokeryx primarily eats small to medium-sized fish, as well as many of the amphibians and reptiles that live in the subterranean swamps, and will occasionally supplement with scavenging. The long, thin, pteranodon-like beak is well suited for snatching up small prey. The serrations along the beak's edges enable the pterosaur to pierce and hold small fish, or tear apart large kills for easier consumption. Despite their small size, Triokeryx are highly aggressive and will mob passing birds and larger dinosaurs to steal their prey. A large enough group can even force a Neospinosaur to give up a large fish. They will also steal from other pterosaurs, including their own species. Some individuals become so competent at thieving that they refuse to hunt for themselves. Any individuals that become overly aggressive with their flockmates to the point of being a serious problem are either driven out of a colony or killed. Triokeryx are social pterosaurs and form flocks around a dozen strong. They have a simple hierarchy system and are led by the oldest and most experienced individual. The leader is the biggest pterosaur of the group and usually has the longest crest spikes. It is this individual's responsibility to make sure the flock members don't harass one another too much. While the leader may indulge in thievery on occasion, he has to be careful not to overstep, or he will meet the same fate as any other habitual thief: exile or execution. Like most other cervocephalids, Triokeryx are monogamous and have minimal sexual dimorphism, save for a slightly larger body size in the males. Both male and female share the responsibility of caring for their young. When the eggs hatch, the parents become especially aggressive towards anything that might try to threaten their flaplings. When the young reach maturity, they usually fly off to form a flock of their own. Most subterramundian thalassodromids are carnivorous, with meat making up most of their diet. Even the more omnivorous species of Cervocephalus still primarily eat meat. Acrolophus is an outlier among modern thalassodromids, but feeds almost entirely on plant matter. The powerful crushing beak that carnivores use to break bones has been modified into a tool to break open large fruit, crack nuts, and chop horsetails. This is the only entirely non-carnivorous thalassodromid in Subterramundus. With its herbivorous lifestyle, Acrolophus is more similar to tapejarids like Lepidolophus or Gorillornis than its closest relatives. Acrolophus appears to have evolved its pronged crest independently from Cervocephalids and lacks the characteristic pseudoteeth of other thalassodromids. It is likely the sole representative of a separate thalassodromid family. Acrolophus are somewhat social, with females gathering in groups for mutual protection. Males, on the other hand, are solitary and only gather when the time comes to mate. Large groups of males will flock to a clearing and gather in groups to display. Older males with taller crests are typically in the center of a given group, while those with shorter crests and smaller sizes are shunted to the sides. Females gather to inspect the males and pick a partner. They often mate with several males, typically the ones with the tallest crests. Many unrelated females will help care for the young of adolescent or inexperienced mothers. The young are raised and protected for a few months before they are left to their own devices. Horrolophids are a sister family of Cervocephalids. They are distinguished by their large sizes, unpronged crests, and more defined pseudoteeth. The large crests, along with a bald skin on the underside of their necks, help them cool down in Subterramundus' warm climate. At their size, they fill niches that were once occupied by giant astarchids like Quetzalcoatlus or Hatzegopteryx. Like them, Horrolophids are hunters of small to medium-sized prey, which they run down with exceptional speed and endurance. Another feature Horrolophids have in common with Cervocephalids is an enlarged claw on the first digit of their forelimbs. This claw is used to hook into prey, preventing it from escaping, or to hold it in place while the pterosaur tears it apart. Thanks to a much more robust build than giant astarchids, Horrolophids are also capable of taking on much larger prey in a fight. Lophodraco is one of the smallest Horrolophids. At its size, it is comparable to a large Cervocephalid, although it is still much larger than the biggest Cervocephalus species of Subterramundus. This pterosaur is a crepuscular hunter and is most active at dawn or dusk. Its large eyes help it spot prey in low light conditions. It also has unusually good hearing for a pterosaur, another useful adaptation to hunting in darkness. Lophodraco typically hunts medium-sized mammals and reptiles, such as large multituberculates and small or young dinosaurs. It will occasionally tackle other pterosaurs like tapejarids and astarchids, but typically favors more terrestrial prey. It is quite fast and usually runs down its victims before going in for the kill with a devastating bite. Unlike Cervocephalus, Lophodraco are polygamous, with both male and female taking on multiple partners. They also practice very little parental care. Females may tolerate juveniles in their presence, regardless of relation. Males, however, will eat juvenile and adolescent pterosaurs, whether they are their children or not. Although Lophodraco is one of the smaller Horrolophids, it is still a terrifying and powerful predator. At around 3.5 meters tall, with an average wingspan of around 8 meters, Machairolophus is one of the larger members of the Horrolophid family. This pterosaur is a swamp dweller with a very stork-like lifestyle. While it primarily eats large fish, it will also snatch up various mammals and reptiles and take advantage of any large kills left behind by other predators. Similar to Spinosaurs or the giant noasaurs that fill their niche in Subterramundus, Machairolophus hunt with their beaks in the water, waiting patiently for something to swim within striking distance. Once caught, prey is usually swallowed whole. Anything that offers significant resistance is either stabbed or torn apart, although particularly powerful fish such as giant coelacanths and saucegates can overpower the pterosaur or tear through its thin skin. Machairolophus are solitary animals and do not tolerate the company of others of their kind. They also do not provide any parental care. Eggs are laid on large islands in the swamps, where they are safe from a majority of predators and nest raiders. Once they hatch, the young pterosaurs have to learn to survive on their own. As is the case with many R-selective species, most will die before they reach their first year. Those that survive make their way to the nearest forest, where they feed on insects and small mammals, before they settle into their life in the subterranean swamps. With a standing height of 6 meters and a wingspan of nearly 15 meters in particularly large males, Thanatosopteryx is the biggest pterosaur and largest flying animal to ever evolve in Subterramundus or on the surface. This great pterosaur uses its immense size to hunt a wide variety of small to medium-sized animals or to bully other predators away from their kills. Thanatosopteryx mainly hunts its prey by stalking and ambushing it at a suitable location, usually in dense forests where visibility is limited. Upon reaching its target, Thanatosopteryx uses the curved claws on its forelimbs to hook into its prey before it can get away. Once caught, the pterosaur pulls its victim close to deliver a deadly bite. Although it prefers to ambush its prey, Thanatosopteryx is a very capable runner, and will chase after its quarry if it feels like it. The long, giraffe-like legs provide enormous reach with every stride, allowing it to reach speeds rivaling some big cats. Apart from running its prey down, Thanatosopteryx is also capable of snatching animals from the air, the ground, or from trees and cliff sides while on the wing. Thanks to this ability, Thanatosopteryx regularly hunts large pterosaurs like Oloraptorans and Lepidolophids. A destabilizing nip to the wings or legs can bring even the largest Oloraptoran to a fatal fall. Like other Horrolophids, Thanatosopteryx is solitary and polygamous. Juveniles may stick together for protection at first, but they will eventually go their separate ways. Males of a species go to great lengths to court a mate. It starts with a large kill, but the male displays in an open area such as a forest clearing, not unlike the showgrounds of Lepidolophus. A large kill is a sign of competence in hunting, an ideal trait to pass on to the next generation. To announce his availability and to guide females to his location, the male will snap his beak together several times a second. This cacophonous clattering can be heard echoing through the forest from many miles away. When a female approaches, the male will begin his show. He begins with a demonstration of strength by dragging or tossing around the carcass. he will alternate between clacking his beak and softly grunting to keep her attention. If the female shows interest, he will stand up and spread his wings to allow her to inspect him for any possible injuries or weaknesses. If she approves, the pair will mate and part ways. After mating, the female seeks out a secluded part of a forest to lay her eggs in. These are covered with earth and leaf litter for incubation. A mother will patrol the area around her nest for a few weeks before leaving. Beyond searching for a secluded nesting place and protecting the nest from scavengers, Thanatosopteryx do not care for their young. The pterosaurs hatch without ever meeting their mother and have to make their way to the top of the food chain by themselves. For the first few months of their lives, the flaplings are prey for a variety of predators, including other pterosaurs like Cervocephalus. Many seek refuge in spire forests, but this does not always guarantee safety, especially not from flying predators. Even in their adolescent years, Thanatosopteryx are preyed upon by numerous carnivores, including adults of their own kind. Those few that are lucky enough to survive grow up to become the largest and most terrifying flying predators in all of Subterramundus. From their origin as small adaptive generalists and opportunists, the Thalassodromids of this hidden world have managed to claim a wide variety of niches, from assorted specialists to massive predators. Thanks to their adaptability, they have risen to dominance despite the many dangers in the harsh world of Subterramundus. Thanks for watching! This video is the final part in the 4-part Pterosaurs of Subterramundus series. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like some of the Paleo art I made for this series, please consider checking out the merch on my website. The link is in the description. Also, check out the other videos I have of Subterramundian fauna. There is a lot more to come. As usual, special thanks to everyone who helped me with ideas for creature design or behavior, and everyone who contributed art for this video. Your help and contribution is deeply appreciated. Also, special thanks to the Paleo artists whose work I was allowed to feature in this video. Please check them out as well. Stay tuned for more. See you in the next one.